Dankie. Okay, so this second project was, this was the first year this season that we evaluated the effect of drape nets on the overall fruit quality of plums. Sorry. So plum producers have financial losses due to sunburn and wind marks, rub marks, resulting in lower packouts. And then during the extreme heat waves leading to high fruit pulp temperatures, plum of certain cultivars, and we saw that mainly in your Letitias and your Fortunes, may develop pit burn. But this, like I said previously, was already visible at harvest. So I know a lot of producers cut open a large amount of fruit just to make sure that they don't have any pit burn on their fruit. Other internals like internal heat damage, that's basically manifested as internal browning, might also develop in the cold storage period. And avoiding possible pit burn and heat damage that might be initiated during the development of the fruit must be determined. So the aim of the project was to evaluate the effect of drape nets on certain fruit physiology and fruit quality of plums. And we also want to determine the effectiveness of drape nets to avoid possible pit burn and external and internal heat damage that might develop. So drape nets were installed in one Letitia orchard and one African Delight orchard. We measured temperature and relative humidity. Loggers were installed. And we measured the air temperature and the relative humidity inside the drape nets as well as on control trees so that we can compare the two. We also measured shoot growth, yield, and we did an external damage assessment in the orchards of wind marks, rub marks, insect damage, bird damage, all of those. And then the fruit was harvested for evaluation after cold storage and after the shelf life period. And obviously the fruit was stored as per cultivar recommendation. Here's just a quick look at some data I prepared beforehand. And that is the difference in temperatures and RH. So you'll see the red line is your temperature differences between the net and the untreated control trees. And the blue lines is your humidity. And obviously, like in the previous slide, as you can, in the previous project, if the temperature rises, your relative humidity decreases. So you'll see if the red spike goes up, normally the blue spike goes down, the humidity. But this is the difference between the nets. So here you can clearly see that peaks of the red line is where the temperature in the day under the net is higher than under compared to the untreated trees. And that can be up to, like in that instances, 5 and slightly higher degrees higher, degrees Celsius higher than without the nets. But we also did this on the African Delights. There you can just quickly see how it looked on the Letitia block. What we saw when we removed the nets is you can clearly see the top of the trees that shoot growth were obviously limited, and they were like more horizontal than upwards, the growth. We also saw that if there was a fruit actually on the outside of the tree and rubbing against the net, then you would have obviously a rub mark of the net on the fruit, but that was in only limited cases. And there was the African Delight orchard that we did. They were bigger trees and a bit more body, so you had less of those rub marks. So you'll have to adapt your shoot growth to assist with this rubbing effect. And then we could clearly see in this African Delight orchard that there were much less of those sunburned fruit, less of them under the nets than without the net. just a few conclusions. I'm still busy analyzing the data to give the bigger picture. Letitia plums, there were less pit burn at harvest, where the untreated fruit had like 2.5% pit burn. The drape nets only had 0.3%. Sunburn, I also call it sun pitting in some cases, because it makes like a pitting effect where the sun was extremely hot on that fruit. And that was also higher on the untreated trees, with 5.6% versus 0% at the drape nets. At harvest assessment at the African Delights, we saw less sunburn fruit under the drape nets. We will have to see what the data shows in terms of the effectiveness once the report is completed. Thank you very much.